My name is Camille Laurent, and for most of my life, I believed family was worth any sacrifice. I was raised in Bordeaux, France, in a household where appearances mattered more than love. My parents, Philippe and Marie Laurent, cared deeply about their reputation, especially among the wealthy social circles they desperately wanted to join. I was the older child, the responsible one. I studied hard, followed every rule, and spent years trying to earn their approval. But no matter what I achieved, I always lived in the shadow of my younger brother, Julien. Julien was the golden child. While I was expected to work for everything I had, Julien received whatever he wanted. Expensive schools, luxury vacations, designer clothes. My parents found a way to provide it all. Whenever he made mistakes, they blamed someone else. Whenever he failed, they rescued him. By the time I reached adulthood, I had learned a painful lesson. In my family, love was conditional. Despite everything, I tried to keep peace. I married a wonderful man named Antoine and built a successful career as a graphic designer. Together, we had a daughter named Sophie. Sophie was 7 years old, kind-hearted, curious, and gentle. She loved animals, collected wildflowers, and believed everyone had goodness inside them. I wanted her to have grandparents and an extended family. Looking back, that was my biggest mistake. The breaking point came during Julien's wedding. He was marrying a wealthy woman named Elodie Durand, whose family owned several successful businesses across France. The wedding was held at a magnificent chateau outside Bordeaux. More than 300 guests attended. From the moment we arrived, it was obvious Antoine and I were not welcome. Our names were placed at one of the worst tables near the service entrance, while the important guests enjoyed seats close to the newlyweds. Still, I smiled for Sophie's sake. Halfway through the reception, Antoine stepped outside to take an urgent business call. 10 minutes later, the music suddenly stopped. Julien climbed onto the stage holding a microphone. "My phone is missing," he announced loudly. "Someone stole it." Guests exchanged nervous glances. At first, I thought it was a misunderstanding. Then, Julien walked directly toward our table. His expression made my stomach tighten. Without warning, he grabbed Sophie's small jacket from the back of her chair and shoved his hand into one of the pockets. Seconds later, he pulled out his missing phone. The room erupted into shocked whispers. My daughter burst into tears. "I didn't take it!" she cried. I knew immediately she was telling the truth. Sophie had never stolen anything in her life. Yet Julien pointed at her dramatically. "She's a thief!" he shouted. My parents immediately supported him. Instead of defending their granddaughter, they accused her. I looked around the room in disbelief. No one seemed willing to challenge him. Then everything happened at once. Julien's anger spiraled out of control. He grabbed a heavy decorative sign standing near the entrance and swung it recklessly toward us. The edge of the wooden frame struck Sophie on the side of her head. The sound echoed through the ballroom. My daughter collapsed. Blood appeared almost instantly in her hair. For a second, the entire room froze. I dropped to my knees and gathered her into my arms. "Call an ambulance!" I screamed. Sophie's cries were weak and frightened. What happened next hurt even more than the attack itself. My mother looked at my bleeding daughter and said coldly, "None of this would have happened if she hadn't stolen the phone." I stared at her. At that moment, something inside me changed forever. Years of loyalty disappeared. Years of forgiveness vanished. I realized these people would never choose me, and they would never choose my child. Fortunately, several guests had already called emergency services. Paramedics arrived within minutes and began treating Sophie. As they worked, Antoine rushed back into the ballroom. The moment he saw the blood, his face turned white. He climbed into the ambulance with Sophie while I stayed behind. Not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted justice. Police officers arrived shortly afterward. Julien immediately claimed Sophie had stolen his phone. My parents supported his story. But there was one thing they hadn't considered. The chateau had security cameras. I calmly asked the manager to preserve all footage and provide it to the police. The officers agreed. Everyone followed them into a private viewing room. The recording was displayed on a large screen. The footage showed everything. Julian approached our table while Sophie was dancing with other children. He removed his phone from his own pocket. Then he slipped it into Sophie's jacket. The room went silent. Every lie collapsed in seconds. Guests stared at Julian with horror. Even Elodie looked stunned. When the footage ended, she removed her engagement ring. "You framed a child," she said. Then she looked him directly in the eyes. "And you injured her to protect your lie." Without another word, she walked away. Her parents followed. Several guests left immediately. The wedding was effectively over. Police officers arrested Julian on the spot. As handcuffs closed around his wrists, my parents finally realized the truth could not be hidden. For the first time in my life, they looked afraid. My mother burst into tears. My father begged me not to cooperate with prosecutors. They claimed prison would ruin Julian's future. I answered with a single sentence. He ruined his own future the moment he hurt my daughter. Months later, Julian accepted a plea agreement and received a criminal conviction. The incident destroyed his reputation and ended many of his business opportunities. More importantly, it protected other people from becoming his next victims. Sophie recovered fully. The doctors confirmed she suffered a concussion but no permanent damage. Today she is healthy, happy, and thriving. As for my parents, I ended all contact with them. No phone calls, no visits, no second chances. People often ask whether I regret sending my brother to court. The answer is simple. No. A parent has one responsibility above all others: protect their child. For years, I sacrificed my happiness to preserve a family that never truly loved me. The night of Julian's wedding taught me a powerful lesson. Being related by blood does not give someone the right to abuse you. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. I lost my parents and my brother that day, but I gained something far more valuable: my freedom, and the peace that comes from knowing I finally chose my daughter over people who never deserved either of us.